good. All right, video breakdown. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, so here's how we're gonna do it. And this is like probably best consumed via YouTube. I've got it up here. So if you're listening, go check out our YouTube if you're doing nothing. But I will walk through, pitch type by count. I've got it pulled up here on the portal too. So we're gonna talk through these at bats. First one is Walker Buehler, last time he saw Buster Posey. Then we've got Garrett Cole against Byron Buxton during that complete game shutout he threw at Yankee Stadium against the Twins earlier this year. And then we've got Framber Valdez against Mike Trout as part of that 8-inning, 12 punch-out performance last Tuesday. So we'll start with Walker and Posey. So, Walker, you tell me like when to roll and when not to. First pitch of the game here. You remember what happened? You remember why Lamont Wade's at second?
Was it a double? It was a double.
It was a double. So you're fresh off a double here, and you're seeing one of the best catches of the generation. And
yeah, so I guess before they bat, runner on second, nobody out. Posey, pretty unselfish player. He's going to be trying to hit the ball the other way, either in the air or on the ground. That's just kind of player he is. And he also doesn't strike out much. So like this at bat is a difficult one because he controls his hands really well. So the rollover to shortstop is probably not going to happen. It may with nobody on, but not in this situation.
Yeah.
Which is like the best case, best outcome you could get is like the hard ground ball to shortstop to keep him at second or third, whatever. But Buster Posey, he doesn't do that. So at this at bat, it's kind of strikeout or bust, or you're trying to get a ball in the air shallow or in the infield kind of thing, which is also a very low percentage outcome.
Got you. So you start him off here. You go first pitch, slider away for ball one.
Yep. So you're trying to get a chase or just, maybe he's trying to go over there and it's not a fastball. And that's like maybe the only way you get like the pull rollover.
Got you. Okay.
So I missed.
Yeah. So counts 1-0. You come back, you go another slider that he pokes foul, but again, away.
Yeah. But you can see also where he fouls off a couple balls like this. You can keep it rolling. Like the swing is oriented towards hitting the ball the other way.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So we move to 1-1 here. And the 1-1 pitch, you go fastball off the plate.
Yeah. Now, like that's trying to freeze him, right? Because he's trying to go over there. He's seen two sliders in a row. Like that's I'm trying to throw a perfect or bust pitch there.
So, Aram, it's pretty clear that like he's got a plan of attack right now.
Yeah. So that's actually right before that pitch. I was about to ask you, like, you threw the second one, you locate it really well. Like, is there any thought in tripling up on that, or do you just not triple up against a guy like Buster Posey? He sees three in a row, he can start to do what he wants. Because the first one you tug a little bit, like second one's like right exactly where you want it to be. Do you think about going back to it again?
Yeah, I mean, I think looking at it now, however many months it's been, like the only thing I would do, the logical thing would be throw a two-seamer in instead of trying to go away, right? Because if he's trying to push the ball the other way and he's even not late, like people will always think that's a late foul ball that he hit on 1-0. Like that's not late. He's under because the ball's spinning. You can just tell when guys are late and when they're just trying to push the ball, not push it, but hit it that way.
Yeah.
So to speed him up even more, I probably should have gone in.
Got you. Okay. So you go four-seamer away, counts 2-1.
Yeah.
And then you come back, you go slider again that he pokes foul, almost same exact
right.
spot.
But got away with it, right? Like that one, you can see it's so much closer to being a line drive, the other way for a hit. That's not like he flares it. Like that's a hit.
Right.
So I get away with a mistake
and what's
there.
The feedback Yeah, so you say you get away with a mistake there. Like, what's the feedback you get on that swing too? Because you talked about how he kind of misses under it the first time. That time he's a little bit more on it, but it's a pretty good location. What do you get from that swing in terms of feedback on what he's doing now?
I think the risk reward there is that's probably going to be the last strike slider I throw, and I got away with it, right? Like now I got the second strike, but you're also risking that ball ends up fair, which is he was pretty close to making it fair.
Got you. All right. So 2-2. How concerning is this? He takes the base, but you execute that slider exactly like that's the last slider for a strike that you threw in 2-1.
Yeah, I mean that's the exact slider you want to throw, but that's probably like a little lack of focus, little lack of knowledge. Like Lamont Wade, I think this was his first or second year in the major leagues where didn't really think about that. I mean, Buster Posey's at the plate and there's some things going on, right? But like, I can't let him do that because what just happened is Posey's at bat is now successful regardless, right? Like Lamont did it, made it happen, but like the only decent for both of us outcome in this at bat is he moves him over, and he just got moved over. So like there's very little successful outcomes except a strikeout for me here.
And I was about to ask you that because now his job just got a lot easier. I don't know if the infield's in or back, but regardless, if the infield's back, any ball in play, pretty much either on the ground or in the outfield's, a run. Like, are you just selling out for the punch out now and risking potential?
Yeah, you have to.
Guys early?
You have to. I think for me, at least the way that I've always kind of thought is on 3-2, nobody out, somebody at third. I'm going to try and strike him out every time because then at least I have a double play set up. And then you're talking efficiency of pitches, right? Because I'm going to have to throw this seventh pitch of the inning. If I strike him out, then I'm in a situation where I've got to go to two more hitters. At least the second one, I've got to try and strike him out. So then your pitch count is going like this. If I throw a pitch to try and strike him out and walk him, there is a small percentage chance, but a chance that I could throw one pitch and get 2 outs, give up the run, but my pitch count as a starting pitcher is still in that 15 to 17 range.
Got you. Okay, so you went slider, four-seamer, and now back-to-back sliders again. So on 3-2, you go four-seamer up, 96, top of the zone. He fouls it back.
Get to that.
Yeah. So that's the first fastball for a strike I've thrown in this at bat, right? So that kind of changes things now because he's really only seen sliders and fastballs for a ball. Throwing that one that's elevated, like my slider doesn't come out of that area much, or my good sliders don't. Like I'm trying to play that off the down away, middle down away fastball, right? By throwing that pitch, which is where there really is the only swing and miss you can get against him is up in, up away, because he just handles everything really, really good down.
Right.
So now I'm in a decent spot, even though he fouled it off. So then I go cutter this next pitch, which he hasn't seen. And it's also something that this may have been the first cutter I've ever thrown him because he actually handles cutter really well. And I don't throw many cutters to righties, but I think at this point, like that slider that I said I can't throw strike slider again, that's why you go into cutter here.
Got you. So you tighten it up a little bit. So, I mean, it's a totally different look, and that's a little off the plate, but you got him lunging. Like, dude, people don't get Buster Posey swinging.
Yeah, I was
like
about
that.
to say, Buster Posey doesn't take swings like that.
Yeah, but I mean, this isn't a toot my own horn thing and all, but cutter's probably my best pitch, and I don't throw it to righties much. And I've faced him a lot of times and never thrown him that. So it actually has nothing to do with me. It's just he had no expectation that was what was going to happen, right? He thought that was the same fastball up and away,
and
for a pretty long time.
And would you say the only reason you went to the cutter right there was because of how deep into the at-bat you ended up getting, where he's seen a little bit of everything and saw the fastball for a strike?
Well, I'm going to touch on that in the next clip. It's more the familiarity, right? It's not about that at-bat. It's that I faced Buster 30 times or something like that, right? And so division's tight, man on third, nobody out. Like he hasn't seen a cutter. He hasn't really seen many curveballs because he handles both of those pitches. Like, I'm going to throw a cutter because the cutter has a higher probability of getting a ground ball to third base, which is like a weird low probability outcome that's positive for me.
Yep.
The curveball, him being slower and him being a veteran, he'll flick it because he can see it for a long time. So if you're looking for something else, it's cutter or curveball. And I think cutter has more different I kind of think of it less of percentages, like, 30% of if I threw this 100 times, 30%. I think of like, how many ways can this go good for me right now?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Cutter had a lot more options for things going good.
Gotcha.